Economic consequences. Addressing the economic consequences of court conflict in Nigeria requires a deep dive into how these clashes disrupt not only the social fabric but also the economic stability of affected communities and the nation at large. The violence and instability stemming from rivalries between groups like the Black Axe, Air Lord, Mafite, and others have far-reaching implications for economic development, investment, and the livelihoods of ordinary citizens. Direct impact on local businesses. Court conflicts directly affect local businesses in several ways. The immediate aftermath of violent clashes often results in property damage, including vandalism and looting. Businesses in areas prone to such violence may suffer significant losses, with some being forced to shut down temporarily or permanently. The fear of ongoing violence also deters customers from frequenting businesses in affected areas, leading to decreased sales and financial strain. Disruption of economic activities. Violent confrontations and the fear they instill can lead to widespread disruptions in economic activities. Markets, shops, and other commercial establishments may close during periods of heightened tension, resulting in lost income for business owners and employees. This disruption extends to the agricultural sector as well, where farmers in rural areas affected by cult activities may be unable to access their farmlands, leading to reduced agricultural output and increased food prices. Impact on investment and development projects. The instability caused by court conflict poses significant risks to both local and foreign investment. Investors are generally risk-averse and seek stable environments to commit their capital. Regions known for recurrent court violence become less attractive investment destinations, leading to a dearth of new investments and the potential withdrawal of existing ones. This lack of investment hampers economic growth and development, delaying infrastructure projects, job creation initiatives, and social services that could benefit the community at large. Employment and livelihoods. The economic fallout from court conflict has a pronounced effect on employment and livelihoods. With businesses closing and investments drying up, job opportunities become scarce, exacerbating unemployment and underemployment rates. Young people, who are already at a higher risk of being recruited into courts due to lack of opportunities, find themselves in a vicious cycle where the absence of legitimate employment avenues makes the allure of joining a cult, with its promise of financial rewards, even more tempting. Long-term economic consequences. Beyond the immediate impact, court conflicts have long-term economic consequences. The degradation of the educational system due to court activities in schools and universities compromises the quality of education and the future workforce's skills. This situation leads to a talent drain, where skilled individuals seek opportunities in more stable regions or countries, further weakening the economic prospects of the area. Strategies for economic recovery and stability. To mitigate the economic consequences of court conflict, a comprehensive approach that includes community engagement, security enhancements, economic incentives, and social development programs is necessary. Initiatives could include support for affected businesses, financial assistance, tax breaks, and low-interest loans can help businesses recover from the aftermath of violence. Economic development programs. Investing in community development projects and vocational training programs to provide alternative livelihoods for at-risk youth. Security improvements. Strengthening law enforcement capabilities and community policing to restore investor confidence in the security of the area. Youth engagement and employment initiatives. Creating job opportunities and engaging young people in productive activities to reduce the allure of cultism. Addressing the economic consequences of court conflict in Nigeria requires a multi-pronged strategy that not only focuses on immediate recovery efforts but also aims at building long-term economic resilience. By creating a more stable and prosperous environment, it is possible to break the cycle of violence and economic hardship that fuels the growth of cultism. Psychological effect on members and the community. The psychological effects of court conflict on both members and the broader community in Nigeria are profound and multifaceted, impacting individuals' mental health and the overall social fabric. These effects extend beyond the immediate victims of violence to touch the lives of those indirectly involved, including families, friends, and community members who live in areas plagued by cult activities. Understanding this psychological impact is crucial for developing comprehensive strategies to address and mitigate the consequences of court conflicts. On cult members. Trauma and PTSD. Members of cults involved in violent activities are at a high risk of experiencing trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Engaging in or witnessing violent acts, losing friends to rival group attacks, and living in a constant state of alertness for retaliation can lead to long-term psychological distress. Desensitization to violence. Prolonged exposure to violence can lead to desensitization, where cult members become more accustomed to brutality and may develop a diminished emotional response to violence. This desensitization can further perpetuate the cycle of violence, as the threshold for engaging in violent acts becomes lower. Substance abuse. To cope with the stress, fear, and trauma of involvement in cult activities, some members may turn to substance abuse. Drugs and alcohol can offer a temporary escape from reality but ultimately lead to addiction, further compounding mental health issues and affecting the individual's ability to leave the cult and reintegrate into society. Identity and self-worth issues. Membership in a cult can significantly impact an individual's sense of identity and self-worth. The cult's ideology often becomes the central aspect of a member's identity, overshadowing personal values and leading to a loss of individuality. Leaving the cult or attempting to reintegrate into society can trigger identity crises and feelings of worthlessness or guilt. On the community. Collective trauma. Communities affected by cult conflicts may experience collective trauma, where the social fabric is damaged and a sense of cohesion and safety is eroded. The constant fear of violence can lead to heightened anxiety levels, disrupt social interactions, and hinder community development efforts. Stigmatization and distrust. Areas known for cult activities often face stigmatization, affecting residents' mental health by fostering feelings of shame and isolation. This stigma can also lead to distrust within the community, as individuals may be wary of their neighbors' potential affiliations with cult groups. Impact on children and youth. Children and young people in communities affected by cult violence are particularly vulnerable to psychological effects. Exposure to violence can lead to developmental issues, emotional distress, and behavioral problems. The glorification of cult figures may also influence young minds, shaping their perceptions of power and conflict resolution. Disruption of family life. Families living in areas plagued by cult conflicts may experience significant strain, including the loss of loved ones, displacement, and financial hardship. These stresses can lead to familial discord, affecting the emotional and psychological well-being of all family members.